Does anybody know? So it's this song. I think it's like a '90s song. It just got stuck in my head. And I have no idea what it is. But the melody's in my head. And if anybody knows what this song is, please tell me. It's da 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 da. Da 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 da, something like that. If anybody knows what that is. Burger Patch. Oh boy. Burger Patch. Okay, I'm going to try Burger Patch. Let me set a clock here for 5 minutes. Burger Patch. Here we go. All right, what am I going to do? What's calling out to me as burger? Let's see. Well, the angle grind, a grinder, you have to put meat into a grinder to make it into burger. It's kind of gross, but it's just the fact, you know. So I'm gonna put a triangle wave from the Trident oscillator into the angle grinder from Schlappy Engineering. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this is a module that is not currently released, but it's called Slopes from Afterlater Audio, and I'm gonna put it into one of the shaper here. Let's see. It's kind of cool. Let's take a sequence here. I've just got a sequence loaded up from on the Performer. So let's put that in. Ooh, this isn't sounding very good, you guys. I'm gonna trigger the Slopes module here. Okay. I'm gonna there's two outputs. There's a 1 volt and a 5 volt. So I'm gonna take the 5 volt and actually put it into one of the 1 volt per octaves on the Trident. No, I don't like that. 2 minutes in. I got 3 minutes. All right. Burger Patch. All right, so we're grinding it up. Ooh, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, we're grinding it up in the angle grinder. I'm going to take the some oct LFOs and plug them into the angle grinder as well. Oh, that's why it's not working. There we go. I had the angle grinder in filter mode. I'm going to turn the tempo up on this sequence. I'm going to take the output from that and put it into the cutting room floor from Recovery Effects. I'm going to use an LFO from that to control the CV input over the cutting room floor. Okay, I'm actually going to take that out and put it into the Dirty Murals from Recovery Effects, which is a delay and a reverb. Ooh, I just punched the globe. That's a cool name for an album. Punch the Globe. We'll put some more CV. Ooh. How's the levels? I know when the synth is quiet to me, it's probably a little better for you guys. I don't know, am I paused? I don't know. What do you guys think? Does this sound like burgers? Wait, what if I do this? Nah. There's time. That's Burger Patch. Div, kid, Ben. What's happening, Ben? Yeah. Thank you for your suggestion of Burger Patch. I'm not crazy about it, to be honest. I liked the suggestion. I don't like what I did with it. Let's try again. Okay, so I got two at the same time. Geriatric pole vaulting on ice. That's a lot. Vent my anger at technology. I like that. I'm gonna try that. So I've got a lot of stuff here that will allow me to vent my anger. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna like plug all my distortions. I'm just gonna make a distortion chain, but I'm not gonna plug it in until I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna see what it sounds like until the end. Hold on, I'm gonna set my timer here. 5 minutes. This is gonna be something. I don't know what this is gonna be, but it's gonna be something. Okay. So what I have going on here, I have my I just have the 100 grit oscillating into the Bad Comrade, into the 4-band distortion, into the Pura Ruina. So I'm going to now just start sending some voltages around. Let's see what happens. Oh, I gotta bring the cutting room floor into the mix too, because it's pretty nasty. Let's maybe, here, it's what I'll do. I'm going to feed this signal back into itself. So the end of the line is the Pura Ruina, so I'm just taking the self oscillations out of the 100 grit into the Bad Comrade, into the 4-band distortion, into the Pura Ruina, which has multiple outputs, and I've got nothing going into the input of the 100 grit. So I'm going to take one of the outputs from the Pura Ruina and put it into the 100 grit input. And not much happened. Let's put a different one. Oh, there we go. That's better. There are actually 2 inputs here, so let's take the 2 input, put it in there, and now I'm gonna send. Let's see. I'll use slopes, and I'll put that into the CD control. Ooh, okay, hold on. Actually sounds better with the distortion of the 4-band distortion off. So, but what I'm going to do is there's a CV control for it turning on and off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin. Let's see here. Let's just turn it on and off. Let's see what happens there. Is it doing anything? So, Benjiv Kid Wilson asked me to express my anger at the technology, and apparently this is what my anger sounds like. I still have some time. You know what I want to do, actually? Just one more thing before this timer goes off. I think this would be cool through a filter. And then maybe cool through some cleaner reverb and delay. Oh, there's my time. Okay. I'm just going to... Right. One more patch cable. I have a mess over here. I didn't properly prepare for this. So let's just send some CV. All right. I'm kind of cheating, but here's the last thing I'll do. Ah, I ruined it. Oh well. Anybody else have any suggestions? Space orgy? Now when I put this on YouTube, I'm going to have to make sure that I put in the little checkbox that this is not for children. Okay. Let's see here. All right, space orgy. I'm going to start a clock here. Let's see here. All right, I'm gonna definitely want to get some. I don't have a whole lot of. Well, I guess I've got my distings, delay and reverbs I can use. Let's see here. There. Also, a lot of my cables are tied up right now in the patch that I'm bringing to my class tonight. So. Do you ever just patch away before you even listen? Because you're like, something will happen. So right now I'm working on someone's suggestion of Space Orgy. If you're just joining us, that's what I'm patching up right now. It's actually, I think maybe I'm getting warmed up. This is getting pretty spacey. I don't like that. Let's see here. Oh, I know what I need. I need an oct, slow oct, LFO. All right, there's time. And as suggested by perpetual students, this was my 5-minute patch challenge of Space Orgy. I think that's my most accurate one today. Keep your suggestions coming. I really wish I had all my modules at my disposal right now, but I just don't. They're all in another case right now. But if I fancy myself any sort of proficient synthesis, I definitely can do plenty. Oh, I don't know, this this 9U 120 HP setup that I'm playing on right now isn't quite enough. Oh, okay. Perpetual students ask, brand new to modular and just got a M32. I'm assuming that's a Mother 32. Anything I should avoid doing to damage stuff? Well, yes. That's what I mean. I don't know. I think the Mother 32 has like Eurorack power. I think it has both, so you can do like wall wart stuff and put it in your case. Always, 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 no matter what level you're at, no matter how long you've been doing it, always check your cable. Make sure your red stripe's down. Make sure you're plugged into your module and your power supply correctly. And also, something that just happened to me recently, and I saw somebody posting about it on a Eurorack forum on Facebook. Sometimes these cables are bad. Sometimes these cables they look fine. You can't tell by looking at them, but you plug them in, and it's actually reversed. I blew up one of my oscilloscopes from Recovery Effects the other day the first time I loaded up my Needham Woodworks case. So find out which modules you have. So a lot of modules have built-in protection, so if you plug them in backwards, it won't screw anything up. Find out which one of those, find out what modules you have that are that, and maybe if you're unsure about your cables, if you bought a module used, if it comes with them from the manufacturer, you're fine, most likely. But if you buy something used and you have a module that has the power protection, make sure that you test that cable with one of those modules that has the power protection, and it won't come on. So if it doesn't come on, then you know that power's no good. And like I said, never, ever, ever get cocky about it, especially when you start getting up to big setups. Like I spent hours loading this up and turned it on, and then all of a sudden I smelled smoke, and it's because I had a bad cable. Also, if you're loading up something big, even if it's not that big, if it's got more than, one row, some people even do it module by module, which is probably smart. Power it up. When you plug it in, power it up. Okay, that one's good. Plug in the next one. Power it up. Okay, these two are good. On down the line. It's going to take you a long time anyways to load these up. So just take the extra time and be careful, because this stuff's expensive. And I have let the Purple Magic smoke out a few times. I've never used the Mother 32, so I don't know what cables I would use. Let's see. Just recently got some contact mic'd, and I hooked up with my Euro. I don't have any contact mic stuff either, but that would be really fun. That's a good idea. I want to get like an ears or something. Somebody asked what cables I would use with the Mother 32. Like I said, I've never used the Mother 32. So, and to be honest, like a lot of this stuff has to do with preference on what aesthetics, because a lot of these cables are made at the same place. It's the same, they come from the same place. I personally because I like glow in the dark stuff, these Modbang cables. This is what I use. And these all glow in the dark. And they have multiple lengths. Mother 32, these would be good for Mother 32. I don't know the exact length of them, but be good patch. But Control, the store out in New York, CNTRL, I think is how they spell the name. They have like these little, I'll just go grab one. Hold on. Give me a second. So they have these, I really like, so there's like this length. I also really like the purple and yellow. They have multiple colors, but I like the look and feel of these, and they even have them as small as this. So something like your semi-modular gear, like your microvolts and your Mother 32s, your DFAMs, these are super useful for that when the patch points are literally a 1/4 inch apart from each other. Also really good for patching, things that are really close together, and you're just minimizing your spaghetti mess. Thank you for telling me I'm so cool. That makes me feel good. The intro spectrum. Thank you. Patch test. Create voices only from LFOs and filters, no VCOs or samples. Okay. It's funny that I love people telling me I'm cool, because one thing that so you think you're cool, right? You go through your life thinking you're cool, and then you start yourself a podcast, and then you have to edit yourself talking, and you do this for 2 years, and you realize maybe I'm not as cool as I thought I was. I'm kind of corny sometimes. Okay, making a voice out of LFOs and filters. Okay. You said no samples and no VCOs. Can I use sequences? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Filthy from After Later Audio. I'm really digging this filter. And let's see here. I'm going to wait on my answer if I can use shit, I need a longer cable. If I can use sequences or not. But for the meantime, I'm just going to do this. resonance filter I'm using here. That just sounds good. I'm going to take a slightly faster LFO. Let's turn these up. Alright, I'm going to go a little faster on these. And, of course, I'm going to do some weird shit like this. It's only appropriate to use some delay and reverb. Yeah, I'm going to do, I'm going to do ping pong delay into stereo reverb and put one side of that stereo reverb out, and then I'll take the other side of this ping pong and put that into a channel, and then I'm going to take the Dirty Murals from I'm going to control time also with the octave of these delays. How's the volume of that? It sounds really quiet to me, but often when it sounds okay to me, it's way too loud for you. So let me know if that sounds okay. Shit, I just lost everybody's comments, and I saw some more stuff. So I'm going to let that play for a second, and I'm going to go look on my other phone to see if I missed any questions. I thought I saw somebody ask something about it, like Pittsburgh or something, but I guess not. Let's see here. I'm gonna mess about some more with it. I didn't set a timer, so I'm just gonna try and do more things. So I just put a sine LFO into the resonance CV input on the Filthy filter. And let's see here, what else can I do? I'm gonna put a ramp LFO into the spread. I don't know if that'll do anything actually. Oh, it did something. So that's just 2 filters, and I'm using, I'm using the Oct from DivKit and Instro. I'm using one of the slower LFOs for the cutoff input, which is basically controlling the pitch of the resonance in the filter on the Filthy. And then I'm doing the same thing from Oct with a little faster LFO going into the Tom Evans Dreadful filter. And then using a Bosk oscillator from Afterlater Audio in LFO mode, sending a sine wave into the resonance CV input, using a ramp wave from a VCD LFO from Doper, and going into the spread CV input of the Dreadful filter. So that's that right there, getting it fast. And then I'm using the Dirty Murals, reverb, and delay, using some Oct LFOs to control the time on that, and the time on the existing ping pong delay, which I'm running into 2 different channels. One of them's just going straight in the mixer, and the other one's going into a stereo reverb from the disc. So we have 4 channels in two voices drenched in effects. This has been fun. Any more questions or patch suggestions? This is a fun patch to have a bunch of CV controlling stuff and then controlling the various speeds of all the CV. So the patch challenge, let me see if I got this right. God damn it, I just fucking... God damn it. Somebody asked me to make a patch. I'm sorry, I forgot your name because I just erased all my chat notes there. With LFOs and filters. Just use LFOs and filters, and then I use some effects, because if I didn't, it would sound like that. No, it's not as fun. Who is the Metro? Is who suggested that. Thank you so much. I think, okay, I like that. What would I do to turn this into a melodic sequence and less Spaceballs? I'll show you. First of all, I'm going to take the LFOs, taking the LFOs out of the frequency. And I'm going to actually use some sequences. So let's see here. I don't know if they're going to be very well in tune with each other, though. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna get them kind of like. It's hard to tune them. I think the delay's screwing me up. Okay, that sounds close enough. Yikes. Alright, I'm gonna try turning them one more time. Still not in tune. Sorry guys, I can't get these in tune for some reason. Oh, I think I know why. That's how I'd do it. I would. I feel like it would get really boring if I sit here and try to tune these. But what I would do is I went from using an LFO to control the pitch of the resonation of the filters, and then I just put a couple different sequences into it, and that's how I would turn that into. If I wasn't getting insecure about taking so much time to tune those in front of a live audience, I think that could have turned into a nice, pretty little patch. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just it's a lot of fun. I've been editing next week's episode all day, and I got to a point where I can do the rest later at work tonight when I have some free time at work. Just like really simple things while I'm just kind of waiting for students to answer questions while they're doing homework. And yeah, I had an hour to kill, so it's nice for me to do this because it's very one thing about having a podcast or about being a podcast fan, because I'm a fan of all these different podcasts, some of them for like lots of years, and you start feeling like you have a relationship with these people, but it's so one-sided. And that just messes with me a little bit to know like how I feel about, I wish I could talk to so-and-so. I figure this is a cool way, especially the call-in version of this. This is a cool way to get to know who's out there listening, and the whole thing about modulars, the community aspect. So it's with technology, you can do this. So why not try to do a community type thing? I don't know if that's too sentimental or whatever. Man, I have a lot of hiccups today. Oh, congratulations. Who is the Metro? Said they played their first modular show last Sunday. And yeah, it's nerve-wracking. And I'll tell you this, though. It's very nerve-wracking. Keep doing it. I mean, obviously. And exposure therapy yourself into not being so worried about it. Like some people are always going to be nervous. I still get a little tinge of nervousness before I do anything live, but usually by the time I start, I'm fine. But just keep practicing and keep doing it. And it seems like, from what I've gathered, it takes about 2 years doing that until you feel pretty comfortable. And if somebody said, hey, you have to play a show this Saturday, I wouldn't be too worried about it. In fact, if somebody said you have to play a 15-minute set tonight, I wouldn't be too worried about it. It wouldn't be my best set, it wouldn't be the best set in the world or anything, but yeah, just confidence comes with time and exposure. 20 minutes is a perfect time for a modular set, especially a first modular set. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is just my personal taste, unless you have movements and a lot of sonic variation within your palette of your live set, anything above 20 to 25 minutes could feel like a bit of an imposition. Maybe that's because I'm more from a traditional music background. I don't know. That didn't sound right. I'm not trying to like talk shit or anything. But yeah, coming up with more than, I guess what I'm trying to say is coming up with more than 20 minutes on a setup that's small enough to bring to a live setting is really difficult to do. Okay, this is a great question. So I was just asked, what is my like go-to patch? I definitely have a lot of patching techniques, and I was thinking about it the other day. I'm thinking I'm going to work on like a live setup and my live technique video, because I've started to realize I do this. This is what I do. Really quick, here's a couple things I do a lot. So something like this, the Felix, which is this attenuating mult 2-channel, is I'll take a voice. So let's say I'll take like a saw or square wave voice from like a main oscillator and put it into here. And now I have 3 different outputs. And I'll put that to 3 different VCAs being controlled by 3 different things going into different filters and different effects. So basically I can make one like if it's a steady sequence on one oscillator, because different pieces of it are opening up and being affected by different filters and effects all over the setup, it actually sounds like multiple voices. So that's something I do a lot to save some space. But something I'm working on right now, I'm working on a piece that I was asked to contribute to a compilation album that's coming out soon. And so this and I keep repatching it in different ways until I find the right way. And that was something that I wanted to work on today. So I use the chainsaw from Acid Rain Technology. It is basically it's got 3 volt per octave input, so you can do really cool chord stuff or like multi-melody stuff. So just as an example, I'm just going to show you really quick. What I've been doing is just using the Oct a lot from Instro and DivKid. So let's see here. Actually, hold on. That's not what I'm doing. Hold on a second. I'm running these 2 outs into filters, right? Because it's a super soft, super square wave oscillator, which is really cool, but I don't always want that. So let's see here. Let's turn this resonance down. So I'll run each output into 2 different filters and put them in like low pass. And then I'll use the Oct to control the resonance of them. And then I've got this sequence built. Hold on. Sorry. I've got this sequence built in my Performer that I really like. These 3 different melodic lines that I plug into. It's actually the sequence. I was using parts of it for that last little patch that I was doing. And then I take those outputs, let's see, and put those into reverbs and delays, which is pretty much in every patch I ever do. It's got reverb and delay on it. Almost there. This is just a really, really quick and dirty. That into a stereo delay on the disting. I'm going to use some slower LFOs actually to move these. So this is kind of the foundation of this patch that I'm working on, and then I'll get to this point, and then I'll try to start modulating stuff in different ways and finding ways to make this work. I actually really like this little version that's going right now. I might record this when we're done. The Oct has been so great to have. So Perpetual Students is asking, is Braids module worth getting, or is does the Platts module do a better job? I'm not like really well versed in either. I've owned both. You'd have to ask somebody with more experience. I don't really know. They both have features that the other one doesn't. So there are definitely camp braids and camp Platts. Platts I have a Platts and I pretty much use it for hi-hats, which might be a misuse of it or a waste of it because it does so much, but it's so great for hi-hats. Braids is great. Do you like one more aesthetically? If Mother 32 is your first thing you've ever got and you're just now getting into modular, you probably wouldn't really, you'd be happy with either one. Probably wouldn't really be able to tell too much of a difference. But yeah, I don't know. They're really popular oscillators, and I'm just wondering, maybe, I think the question is what is attracting you to those two? If you have a Mother 32, is it because they, I mean, they're beautiful modules, and they have a bunch of beautiful sound. But are you drawn to it because of the popularity of them, or have you done a lot of research on a lot of different oscillators? Like, what kind of sounds are you trying to make? You know, these are really important considerations, and these are considerations that I didn't take when I was first buying modules. I've owned a lot of stuff that I no longer own because it was just like, you know, gas, gear acquisition syndrome. But one thing, I get a lot of questions from people just getting into it, and it's advice that I got that I didn't take when I was a beginner, and now it's advice that I'm giving that a lot of people maybe aren't taking, but it's just take your time and do your research because it's expensive. And if you're living in a place where you can't go and try stuff at a shop, and you have to buy it and have it shipped and wait for it to ship and all this, like, it becomes a big time investment too. So you want to really make sure. And if you can get your hands on stuff to try it out first, I really advise that. Yeah, I agree with Who's the Metro says Platts is easier to use. Braids has more functionality. So Braids has a screen, and you're going to be doing some diving. There's a lot of stuff you can do, diving into it, menu diving stuff. I aesthetically just love the way Braids looks. I love the screen and everything. It looks really cool. But yeah, like, Platts is one of those things, like, you patch it up. If you like CV, if you want to use a lot of CV control, go with Platts for sure. It instantly sounds good. It's in my other case right now for my class tonight, or else I'd show you. But it's like, take a couple LFO, like, patch your output to a mixer, put it through some reverb first, and then plug a bunch of different modulation sources to all the different stuff, and like cycle through the voices. It's all gonna sound good right away. So that is something that's cool about the mutable stuff. As somebody who's starting out, like, while it's super deep and you can get really, like, if you're really, really good at synthesis, you can get a lot out of it. I'm not saying they're like beginner's modules at all, but they are really great for when you're first starting to get really pretty stuff. Like, when I first started, I just had like all these analog oscillators and stuff, and it was just like really nasty. Like, I couldn't get anything cool sounding. But you get something like a Rings or a Platts, and it's like, oh, you can make pretty music right away. So yeah, this is my go-to patch. I'm really digging this iteration of it, but I'll show you what it sounds like without, this is what it sounds like before any of the filters and effects. This is just the chainsaw. This is what's coming out of it. So it's got beautiful sound.